Cassian Andor. He's a rebel spy, super bad friend. Give you a hug at the very end. Make that man feel like 100. He's the rogue one for me. Pick you ass up, he's not in the show. Is he a fish or a thief? He's Cassian Andor. Cassian Andor. Cassian Andor.
Maybe you're just expanding, bitch. That's what I would have said. But anyways, I like the episode a lot. I'm Jason Ward from MakingStarWars.net. Watched it last night with Jiggity James and Maximilians, and we had a good time. But I was tired. It was late, and then I slept, woke up, watched it again. No shit. Last night the episode ends, and like I finally calmed down. No shit. As soon as like I was hitting that part where if astral projection is real, I'm floating above my body about a foot, you know? Lightning and thunder and shit, which never happens here. Like starts raining and shit like that. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? I thought I was in an Andor war. But so yeah, but I woke up at 11 a.m., put that shit on, and now I'm here. I could do two things at once. I could survive a storm. California, people die when it just sprinkles because we're dumb. But anyways,
Let's talk about growing pains.
you were a sleepy little man last night, all snuggled up in your little sleeping bag at the foot of your wife's
My
bed.
schnauzer. My schnauzer right here.
I
He's right
like
there.
the idea that you sleep in a kid's sleeping bag at the foot of your wife's bed. little Care Bears sleeping bag. But anyways, so you woke up like a normal person and said, "Hey, there was a TV show I enjoy. I'll watch it." And then you watched it, right? And
First I did my chores.
did his chore. What? What?
I clean the kitchen in the morning. I have chores.
Oh God, no! Don't do that. So it's not
Oh,
cool if
you're
it's not
doing
a
it
pile of dishes. Yeah, I get it.
Huh?
But anyways, so what was the gist of your thoughts there about the episode?
Just to my thoughts.
Mhm.
Yeah, man. I mean, look, short answer is phenomenal. You know, slightly quicker, a little more in depth before we go scene to scene. You know, when I wrote my little fan film back in 1998, 99, I set it up where this guy, it's like bounty hunter dude, had like a dude he was protecting, being chased by bounty hunters, and they go up into a meteor shower that's coming at him.
Okay.
And I thought that would be a great visual with all these streaks of stuff going by, and then you go up into one, and the guys are being taken out. And this is how you kind of tell the dude maybe has a little connection to something, but you don't know, right? Like what that is because he's not using. And then I'm like, Gilroy, you did it! You did it! You did it, buddy!
You did it.
Again.
Kind of funny.
That would visually look cool.
Somebody pointed it out last night on the show last night when I was watching the episode, it occurred to me. I was like, the eye is super beautiful. Tony Gilroy, though, I'm going to assume, or the director, was it Susan White who did these ones? I think it was
Susan White.
Yeah, the writer, whoever it was, Gilroy or not, but they're like, oh, we have a bunch of people that want a bunch of lightsabers because that's a glowing neon blade on screen, and they love it. Stupid, bad idea for a weapon overall. Not the greatest concept when you really think about it hard. Like, we don't really need lightsabers, but it looks cool, so we like it. And it's like, well, you know what? This isn't a show about that, so I'm gonna put like 15 million of those fucking things flying through the air, basically. Like that was our
5 hours in. You
5
know what
hours
I mean?
in,
If you had to
sure.
wait 5 hours to see a lightsaber like effect, then you know you're doing all right.
But
you know, you're not.
yeah, but that was the joke about the background when my daughter, she picked this out. My daughter designed this right here. She said this is what I need. She's 7. This is what you need. And I was like, well, you know what? People like lightsabers, not just a bunch of little ones. We'll take it, Penny. So I feel like it's the same thing. I feel like I'm pretty much like the working man's Gilroy. That's what I call myself now, the working man's Gilroy. No, but
there's 3 of them now.
There's a bunch of them.
Gilroys. There's a Justin. There's a Dan. There's an Ichabod. You know what?
and
Come on, Gilroy.
little Stevie Gilroy.
Yeah.
But yeah. So one of the things that I kind of wanted to like give two things. First thing is, as fans, we need to be a little bit more sophisticated in understanding that not every episode functionally does the same thing. Like I keep saying, this episode, so much better than the last one. That is not a fair or a balanced way of looking at this thing at all, because it's not like that. They're sort of 3-act structures going on with each cluster of 3 episodes. So yes, the third one is going to make you pee a little bit every single time. So when you look at the one before the third one, you're going to have to be a little bit cooler about it, because that's not the one where you pee a little bit. It's the next one, because that's how, dynamics work, I guess. But a couple of things that I noticed on my second viewing that I just wanted to say, like the subtleties of the show are so there. I feel like I could watch the whole thing again and notice a whole other round of small, subtle performance things that are great. But when Tattoo Guy, I still don't know their names, and I'm never going to know their names. For whatever reason, these names just do not
Little
stick
bitch.
with me. The traitor.
Let's call him Lego.
When the dark skinned guy who looks like Hightower from Police Academy, he's like, cover me. The second he says cover me, though, the tattoo guy steps out, fucking shoots somebody to gain the confidence.
Right.
And he could have done that the whole time. He could just boom and just does it. He could have done it the whole time. Yeah. And then when he goes out to run, he just watches him go. He lets him get killed. He wants to thin the herd for when they get out. Yeah, but that's not something that the episode that makes it very clear about on purpose. It's not meant to beat you over the head with.
Look,
it's good.
I never had to go to combat, but I did train in the Army, and I picked that up day one. I was like, motherfucking, just fucking guys. Like, this is what I try to tell people. Like, there's what did we watch? We watched what did we watch? We watched, what the fuck was it? It was supposed
Golden
to be
Girls.
My wife and I watched something, and there was this dude who had like a bomb, and he had to like chuck it in something, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then he goes to like chuck it in, and it's like falling on the floor. It's Werewolf by Night, right? There's this whole like explosive weapon thing they got to put in the wall. And I tried to explain to her that my aim with the grenade is horrible. Like, it is. I had the worst throw literally known to man. Like, my dog can throw better than me. It's not even close.
What did I watch that had a fake grenade hole, and they put the grenade in, and it goes there almost like a miniature golf course, and it comes back out at their feet?
Was it Spies Like Us, I think?
No, it was newer. I think it was newer.
Okay.
But anyways, I thought it was cool.
But I just remember, like, when the first time I had a grenade, I was like, I had to put it in a box. You're supposed to like run around and this is a little one. This is not the real grenade. The real grenade, you gotta throw it the fuck out there. But the little one, the popper, you're supposed to put in a hole, like go in there, put the hole. And when you do, I just didn't want to blow my fucking hands off because I draw, right? So I'm like, and I go to the hole, and I just missed it, pops right out, you know? You're like, well, that would up and fucking kill everyone, Rob. Go run 4 miles. So, like this is the problem with like the trouble with rebellions is you're getting people who are willing to do things, but the second shit goes down, bro, like most people fucking run, like it is the one thing. Like, we had to do combat training once, and that's when I was like, not only did I not run, like I ran into it. Like, I was like, I didn't know I had that in me. I thought I'd be like, I'll just let it. I don't, you don't know what you're going to do when shit starts going down, So that guy, like, yeah, he covered him, but he's covering his own ass. First fucking dude got killed in 2 seconds. So,
yeah. I think he let him. I think he caused him to die on purpose. Another while we're on the deaths thing for a second though, because there isn't anything that's like perfect. It's very good, but Gorn, I do know his name because he's cool. When Gorn's death should not have been treated ceremoniously, but they did a bad job in the edit with Gorn's death. I literally watched the episode, missed Gorn's death, watched it again, and had to rewind it because I realized Gorn was dead.
I didn't miss anything. You're watching this, Jason. No, Jason, you're watching this too fucking late. You need to go to bed on time. Stop
Rob,
doing the show
Rob,
at 2 in the morning.
rewind it,
was
Rob.
really
You're not
clear
listening.
I
not
watched
listening.
it.
Rob, I woke up in the morning,
Yes.
completely as fresh as I get, baby. Fresh as I get. Watched it again and missed it because the guy comes out, talks shit, and when he gets killed, it's a stunt man who gets killed. It's not the actor who plays Gorn. So they shoot him from the side. They're all wearing the same clothes. No, I'm saying no.
All right.
He needed. They needed one more. No, we can say something is really good, but say where could it have been better? That was a spot because last night, about I'm gonna say 2/3 of the audience was like, Gorn died, and I was like, yeah, Gorn died, and also Cintas, the uniform people. Very confusing what happens with her too, but that might be okay. That might be about intrigue. That might be about where we end up the next day or the next episode. So I'm not writing that one off as
I don't know
necessarily
I don't
messy.
Get any confusion from this, and you know me, I'm the pickiest motherfucker here.
Why didn't she go with him? Why didn't it? Doesn't make a lot of sense. Why?
Because she had to cover the family. The real question is, did she kill the fucking people? She held the tower to keep in the comms, and she kept them people at bay. When they're gone, the plan was always for her to get out another way. That's why she said, "Are you going to be all right?"
Yeah.
The plan was never for her to hook up with other people. They just didn't tell you their plan.
They never told us what the plan was and what they're like.
Right, you're going to see the plan. Right.
I hope so. Yeah, I think we will because of that Star Destroyer shot that we didn't get this episode of.
Just like they never told us what they were going to do. They didn't know they were going to scuba dive, Johnny Quest style. By the way, which is a great shot. That's the kind of shot that I wanted from Kenobi when he was swimming. I was like, when in Kenobi, when Ewan's swimming, I actually really liked the setup on that, and I like the look of it. But he's like right up on you. You know what I mean? It's like you're like right under him, so you don't get a sense of where fucking
they had They had us like a little tiny pool to film that one. At Pinewood, they got that water tank, and I'm about 95% sure that was filmed in that giant water tank at Pinewood, which is once again.
That's one of those things where the cover.
I love Pinewood. I love you, Pinewood. I love you.
And the shot from the floor looking up where you see the meteors.
That's the one. Yeah.
Beautiful. Yeah. I mean, this is the Mission Impossible style. You know, like what I was saying with like a Macquarie, like this is it, right? This is like the thing that, no, it's not Ethan Hunt over the top, happy go, lucky.
Sure.
It's a more dramatic. It's more like Valkyrie, right? In that sense.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I saw that.
That was great. And we were totally wrong about the crystal, right? We got that one wrong.
Maybe.
They didn't leave it behind.
Maybe though.
We're not. What do you mean maybe?
No, I
she
mean
leaves it with Oshi. Oshi turns them in
until it's back at the shop. Until it's back at the shop, I'm saying it's still a theory.
Right.
She hasn't made it home yet, and yeah. So that opening, by the way. So me and my buddy Robert St. Clair, we were talking about the exchange, like the cultural exchange of the fur or the blanket sort of things between the Altani and the Empire, and like what it means. And he was like kind of going like, is this like a smallpox blanket kind of scenario? Like, are they giving him, because they go and they burn theirs right after. And obviously we're like, well, that's probably a gesture of, we don't need your empty gesture, so they burn it.
It's an empty gesture. They're not giving him a plagued. Well, because he gave it to his kid. Why would he have his kid like walk down there?
No. The Empire.
But he himself is holding it. He's not going to hold a plague.
Stop. You reverse it. The Altani are giving them the Empire the smallpox blanket in this scenario is what we were talking about. But I think it's this, and like I said, that Ethiopian proverb I sent you: when the king walks by, the servants bow deeply and fart silently. I think they're giving him
cringe humor, Jason.
No, that's their Ethiopian proverb.
It's cringe humor. It's cringe humor. It's cringe.
It's cringe. What I'm trying to say is, I'm kind of wondering if the Aldhani don't actually smell. Gorn wants to bang one out with them, unless he's into stinky chicks. I have to think that what they've been doing this whole time, their own sort of silent, private form of resistance, maybe giving these Imperials stinky shit to be like, fuck off. You don't want to trade with us. You don't want to communicate with us. You don't want to hang out with us. But at the end of the day, the Empire was going to do what it was going to do anyways. But I'm kind of thinking that that may be a very subtle form of resistance, is what I'm trying to say. Because it doesn't really make it, you know what I mean?
Maybe.
Like whatever hides they use, they might go get the most fucking stinky, fucking sickly animal to get the hide to give to them, as opposed to their lassie of whatever that comes from, which is probably, majestic. But yeah, I kept thinking too during the episode that the Aldhani were gonna do their own rebellion in the middle of it and fucking make everything go sideways though. I kind of thought that was going to happen for a time because it seemed like they were kind of a lot of them were on edge. A lot of them were just fucking Russian space hippies, but you could tell a lot of them
You'd
were
be on edge too if you're trying to go fucking pray and you got a bunch of boot neck, you know what I mean? Jackbooted fucking Nazis standing over you. You know what I mean? Yeah, have fun.
Well, if that chief had said what he said to anybody but Gorn, they would all be dead probably. When they walk up there and he basically burns them and basically says hopefully you stop being an asshole someday. And so I think he was lucky. I was wondering if the chief knew what Gorn was doing by some chance, if they were in on it in any way at all, if maybe he knew him because of the woman that he loved and stuff like that. So there's potential subtleties there that tied that stuff together, but that's left up to the audience to decide if it has any merit.
Oh no, don't worry. There'll be a 24 issue Marvel comic needlessly explaining this.
I have my no. I mean, we make that joke, but my actual hope is the fact that this is Star Wars for grown-ups means that they actually write books for grown-ups and that they don't put it into Marvel Comics, because the Marvel Comics people aren't necessarily the audience of the show. Is what the vibe I'm getting lately.
Did you read the Once Upon a Time in Hollywood book that Quentin put out?
I listened to the podcast though. Listen to the podcast for you. I like that.
The podcast. Oh, the Video Archives
one.
podcast. Yeah. So his book, it's not like a novelization of the movie. It's got scenes that take place before, after, during, whole sequences of the TV show. You actually are in the TV show lore for a good fucking 3 chapters and shit. So it's just a completely different way of going about that sort of thing. It just continues the world in and around events, And so I would very much like something like that with Andor when everything's said and done, to get a book that goes in and around events that supplements and enhances, but doesn't try to go through chronologically making you reread the same shit.
I think you might like the books that they could do to this based on the fact that we both love Catalyst, which was the other Gilroy joint that we, you know what I mean?
I was making fun of the Marvel comics. Bounty Hunters. I'm not talking about what they do in novelization form. Yes.
Yeah. No. That's where I think I might be into the idea of publishing picking this stuff up if they treat it like Catalyst is the benchmark. Catalyst is the target area.
Yeah, but it doesn't need to be a linear. Catalyst was still linearly.
It could be sideways to this and stuff.
Yeah, and it could be in and around. That's why I really think that Once Upon a Time. By the way, read it. The audio novel is the actress. What's her face from Fast Times and Hateful Eight.
Jennifer.
It's clearly Quentin's voice.
Yeah,
she's fine, but it's clearly Quentin's voice. So having her read it, and it's just odd. I can't deal. I just read the fucking book. So
yeah,
super good.
But So, anyways, episode. So we have those people walking up, going through into the base, and you sort of have like that tension. And but you start to when you rewatch the episode and you know that what's his name is a traitor. They did such a good job throughout all of those shows about how he cozies up the whole time. He's he's sort of casing Andor. He's hey, even when he mentions that what's his name was a stormtrooper in this episode, he's hey, you didn't know he was a stormtrooper. Every single thing he's ever said to Andor, it's not obvious though. You could not watch the first episode and go, oh, they're telegraphing this. They didn't telegraph it, but it's all there. And there's even little subtle things that this episode picks up from the first episode that does not forget. The axe forgets, the tree doesn't, or whatever, right? This show's like that. In the first episode, they fucking hire Clem. So when they go into the vault, when they're going into the vault, Vel makes him go first because he's the one who needs to die because he's the one who's being paid to die. If that happens, they could have forgot that. Any other series would have forgot that. They would have been like, the audience is too stupid to remember. Who cares? And they wouldn't even do it. This show does it. I appreciate the fact that the things that happened 2 episodes ago matter in this episode because that's how an involved Star Wars product should be, even if it's something that's stupid, like Boba Fett living with Tusken Raiders and stuff. That whole thing, like it should.
Or how about
be
this?
Like,
Boba Fett having previously met a giant fucking gladiatorial Wookiee in a previous fucking adventure, and then pretends like he's never fucking seen him before. Kind of a big fucking deal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Kind of. It's that one thing. I'm like, that's where I'm like, they don't. Some of these people, not the company as a whole. Some of these people just don't care about your lore. It's just they're not even remotely interested in dealing with it. So like, at least
and it
here.
It would have been better.
Gilroy and these cats aren't interested, they're not also dismissing it. You know what I mean? They're like, there it is. It's there. Like they do connect it, but they're, they put it back here, over here, there, and it's there, but it's not like Mon Mothma's ties to the race of people that she ends up quitting over to,
Yeah.
Like that's something that fucking does not fucking matter. Like, you know what I mean? As far as I'm concerned, she could just be like, this place is all evil. I'm leaving because I'm not. Like that, fine. That's classic Star Wars. But the fact that she keeps doing that rewards motherfuckers who know, right? Like, what's the point of having a lore if you're not even, you just shouldn't be bound by it. But any place where you can like pepper a little here and there, that's the cameo for me. That's the cameo worth having. The lore cameo, versus there's Tarkin Wookiee in the background. Like, who cares? Like that's not helping nothing.
Well, and like,
Did
and like,
right,
not to harp on it too long, but like the Book of Boba Fett thing with that Wookiee, if there had been like a moment where he's like, yeah, I remember you. Fucking watch yourself.
Easy.
Like if there was just that little moment, it would have just been like so cool. You know what I mean?
Right.
And oh yeah, and do what Santa says and like the video, please. I would appreciate that. And make sure you watch Santa's video if you want more reviews of the episode.
Yeah, we're talking about Santa again. So like it's almost Jason, it's almost Christmas. Do we have to talk about Santa now? Like we're gonna be fucking inundated with Santas left and right, man. Like right after
Jingle
the 31st.
bells, jingle bells, Organo Rock.
God.
How about that? How about that one?
Oh my god, I can't make it stop. So fucking with you. But so I was like, what I do? But
how about this one?
I just like how
joy to the world between worlds. Filoni had a really bad idea. What a stupid concept. Confusing for all of us. No. Okay,
can I say something that might be deemed inappropriate or rude, but I don't know how to deal with it yet.
Cancel him.
Right.
Okay, Kanye, go ahead.
We have a person who helps out around the house a few times a year, right?
Mm-hmm.
And she lets us know she's a Jehovah's Witness. She's great, but I'm like, all right. So she doesn't celebrate a holiday, right? A Christmas holiday, and we're like, my wife's like, hey, I want to get her a bonus, for the end of the year, but she doesn't know if she'll accept it. I'm like, just tell her it's for Life Day. She loves Star Wars, right? It's like, she likes old school. We'll get like a little, we'll wear red robes or some shit, just so our heads are sticking out, so we don't have to have costumes underneath them. Like Life Day. She's looking at me like, don't sully this with your Star Wars. I'm like, all right. Okay.
Once again, another checkbox about why Jehovah's Witnesses make the best friends.
And me, because I don't want your fucking Christmas presents.
There we
go. What I was trying to say, I'm trying to talk about the fucking episode, bro. But like, what I like is the opening juxtaposes two dudes having coffee against two other dudes having coffee. As a guy who drinks coffee, I gotta say, I've always wanted a Star Wars scene that juxtaposes two dudes having coffee over another crazy asshole dudes having coffee, right?
So like let's cut between us and the Fandom Menace guys going, this show's boring and stupid and a bunch of SJW fucking nonsense.
Yeah. Star Wars news parts.
Did you guys see the old honey? Did you guys see the eyes? That was chemtrails and they're making the Gungans gay. Yeah, we can do that.
You can't make them gay. They make you gay. That's how the Gungans work. That's how they're on to you, Jason. What?
Old Boy Film says visually this is the best Star Wars I've personally seen. The only shot that compares is Kylo and Rise of Skywalker are on his way to that one place where Palps is at. Laugh out loud. It makes me, some of these shots reminding me a little bit of when the Starkiller base laser fires, and you have like Kylo on that bridge. But this is prettier. You know what I mean? It's really cool. I love that kind of thing. I love when, so in a lot of like, especially like, I don't know what I'm not an art historian, but like anthropological art, when you look at like giant Chinese tapestries and shit, you'll see that they make mankind or humankind look tiny. Like it'd be like mountains and cherry trees and blossoms and shit. And you'll see this little structure. And it's like, that's how tiny you are in the scheme of the universe. Like that's what they purposely do. And lots of art like that. And I like that. I think that's really fun. And I like when these shows do that. Because it's kind of like the same.
As soon as you get Thrawn, you're gonna get a whole lot of it, right? Where he's looking at the art and he's telling everyone how the art explains what.
He's gonna be like, yes, a cell phone. It tells me you're vain and you want to take pictures of your lunch.
I'm gonna tell you. And tell me what he's gonna do. He's gonna go. Well, you got an Aldani fur. It smells like farts. It's because they fought on it. You know, the fartonies. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. And you're like, fucking, why does Thrawn have to talk like that? Why?
Yeah,
Why does he have to talk like that? We
He's
got
from
a
Liverpool.
Scar's fought, not a Scar's God. You know, like, it's,
yeah.
you know,
But I mean, I also like some of the set design in the show of when we are on the outside stuff. It's very clean on the Empire base, but when you get deeper in, that's when it gets all scratched up and looks like shit. You can tell.
I like how claustrophobic the comms room looks too. Like that's that classic kind of 70s, you know, THX 1138 kind of. It's not just the switchboards; it's just like the way it's like right over him. You know what I mean? Like it's just sort of like it's all up in his owl. And the other thing I really liked was when Andor turns on the jet thrusters. Like they give that little fucking speeder thing a gut punch. You know what I mean? It's like a bam, like it really does. The sound design, just the way they set it up, it has weight to it. It's not just like here's the Falcon kind of taking off and woo. You know, like it's like
it's not whimsical. It has weight to it. When they're in those like towers, like where the guys are having the coffee and stuff. At first, I was like a little bit like almost, I wouldn't say disappointed, but when you can look out the windows and you can't see anything. And I was like, come on, like this is Star Wars. At first, I was a little bit like, I would kind of, do a little something. And then I was like, oh, I see what you're doing. Because you know what I mean? They make it real drab. So when that neon light show does happen, it pops even further. I was a big fan of that. I thought that was pretty cool. That was kind of a cool dynamic in the episode. It's crazy to think we're just halfway through this show. Yeah, it's pretty good. Gotta say, it's the best thing they've ever done on television by far, at least for us. Jonathan says, awesome episode and series so far. It's on a different level to the Star Wars shows. Yeah, and I like I was just kind of getting at, like I think that there should be all of the levels should be. I don't mean like they should make a shit Star Wars show. I just mean, some shows should be for 7-year-olds and some shows should be for 44-year-olds. That's how they should do it. They have a vast audience. They should cater to the whole thing.
My house helper finds the Rogue One and Andor too serious for her and her family. The Mandalorian is like Boba Fett was too goofy. They quit. I was like, how far did you quit? She's like, I don't know, like second episode. I'm like, you just go watch the 6th one if you like. You need to go watch. You're gonna have to watch that one. You're missing like what should have been the first episode of the fucking 3rd series. Really, like you gotta go. Just I had to warn her about that, But I'm like, oh, that's too. And then I don't think for whatever reason they literally quit on. They didn't even watch Kano. I think they were let down. That's what's weird about fandom too. Like I'm never like you have to really drop the ball for me to quit for a long time. Like you have to kind of make two really fucking horrendous films back to
Yeah.
back over a period of several years, and then complain about the fans for me to go, all right, I'm out. Right, Jason? But even then, still come back, right? You get a win, right? You get a win. I'm right back at the door, you know? So I think that the Mando and this would be two excellent. And for all we know, the Acolyte could be something in between.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like something in between where it has this action figure-y stuff, which is what I put the Mando in, a little more action figure-y, juxtaposed against a more tapestry, like, you know, like a big landscape, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, and there's, you know, I don't know if I would call Andor Star Wars for dads, but it's the closest thing to Star Wars for dads we've got, maybe, but also like not dumb dads. Like Mando's kind of like in that realm too. But yeah, I think Acolyte is maybe going to be Star Wars for the Hunger Games audience who's got a little bit older. That's kind of what I think, that's kind of the vibe I'm getting off of that one. But I'm curious if I end up being right about that. We'll have to see, you know. But that Hunger Games audience, they still, you know, that generation still exists. They didn't get wiped out. They didn't just disappear. And so I kind of feel like that's originally what they were going after with the sequel trilogy. And I'm curious if that's going to be the one that picks up that mantle, and that would be like sort of the different angle for it. But anyways, Lord says
the Force Toast peep, right? The Force Toast crew, like that's the one I put in that category. They seem to really be into that relationship,
like
stuff.
that pandering to the general audience on Twitter. Yeah.
You know, Jason, we all eventually have to betray you. You can't really be a Star Wars fan if you don't betray your best friend, right? Like,
that's true. That's true.
So just give me time. I'm working.
I should have known when we were hanging out in secret. You know, when we're hanging out in secret, I should have been the.
They won't even like tag you. Like we're hanging it. Don't they move out of your photos.
They were really cute though, so I was like, all right, I'll meet you in secret. Ari says, I honestly,
too, but they're different.
Yeah, no, I like their show. I just think that they whatever. I honestly expected the guy snitching when he heard about the. Oh yeah, what I wanted to say was the Synthesis thing isn't a problem, but when you get too many of those, that's when it becomes a problem. It wasn't though. It wasn't a problem just because like it may be inconsequential, or it may be something that's going to lead to more down the road. I'm assuming it leads to more down the road because we have her sort of stuck behind enemy lines. And honestly, the whole Synthesis thing could just be a way of showing us how high the stakes are and what the consequences are. We might be cutting back to her just like we cut back to Ferrex. Remember we cut back to Ferrex with them taking over the apartment complex to turn it into an office for that guy. Same thing might be happening with her. She may be stuck behind enemy lines, so to speak, and we may see that Star Destroyer come, and we might see them all get wiped out.
Up the Aldani, because of her, right? So she has to also
and they're all getting in chains, or the Star Destroyer just blasts them all. Like, that may be the point. So that's why I'm not like writing it off like it's a problem, you know. Did you guys think Cinta was crying because she executed the family? Huh.
I don't know if I don't know. I'm 50-50. She could or she couldn't have. She also could be crying because her girlfriend may or may not.
Yeah.
You may never see her again. Like you just.
They pulled off the plan. Yeah, they pulled off the plan. Yeah, there's a lot of potential there. Yeah. I didn't thought about that. I just feel like, I don't know. I feel like if you were going to go and kill the wife and the child, that would have been a very big, dramatic, heavy-handed moment that would be dealt with on screen in some way, maybe tastefully. But I was joking about the family last night with Max. But she was like, oh, I felt bad for them. I was like, fuck them, Imperial stooges, burn them all down. But I was semi joking, but
Jason's got a big French Revolution poster on his wall, like right off camera.
I was like, lies, deceit. I was going full soccer. Yeah, but what I liked about the kind of like I liked that they sort of set up that boy. He's just a sweet boy. There's nothing wrong with him. He's not a little Joffrey from Game of Thrones. He's not like, Daddy, make the stormtrooper dance for me. He's not doing anything like that. He's just like, you know what? I'm sick. I just don't want to do this. I don't want to be here.
I want to see why the Aldani really smell on the inside.
Yeah.
Open one up for me. You know, like,
Yeah,
all right, kid, we'll open up an Aldani. Go bring me the youngest one you got. You know.
Yeah, he just has like the worst case of dad takes you to work day ever. You know.
I want my own radio show where I can sell supplements and raise my own empire. Shut up, kid. You know.
How long until the Twitter fucktards start going all out with they were fat shaming him? give it 5 minutes, I say. But it was pretty funny when he had that fucking heart attack. It was funny the first time. It was funny the second time.
We literally have a space saga with an alien race called the Hutts, and they're all fat dudes. So like, let's not take that stance now, shall we?
Oh, I see clowns in this thing on both sides of the aisle. You're all a bunch of clowns. As the truth says today on YouTube,
Andor just Five Guys aisle.
Yeah. Hey man, that fucking plate of Imperial food looked fucking good though, man. I was like,
hey, it's burrito day for Rob, so I'm getting my haircut today. So I get my burrito once a month.
I want an Imperial burrito on one of those fancy trays, you know. Today on YouTube says that is true. Andor does not have much Star Wars. Doesn't show much of Star Wars. It's its own thing, not very Star Warsy. Seriously, I guess it needs Vader and Hayden. It
does. It does. It really does. It just needs lightsabers. It needs guys that just breathing heavy. They got to pull Star Destroyers down with the Force. They need to tanks.
I was talking with Santa about it. Not that he was taking that stance, but me and Santa were having a conversation, and I was like, the thing is just like all of the stuff just pulls on different fucking threads of the such a rich tapestry what the original Star Wars was, that like all of these components of like rebellion are in A New Hope. Even they're just treated in such a Pollyannish way through Luke Skywalker, like his family, and so it just like it's all there. It's all the same thing. Like we could see how Gilroy would film the stormtroopers coming and killing Aunt Beru and Uncle Owen, and how Luke Skywalker ends up at Yavin. Like it would be
literally did it in Rogue One, but like,
sure.
He literally filmed scenes where stormtroopers.
Yeah,
but like I also, Jason, like this has been my argument since the 90s. Like if Star Wars is a great universe, then like this is my take in the 90s, so it's not relevant to the MCU. I'm just saying if it's a great universe, then like Marvel should be able to exist without the X-Men. There should be other shit in Marvel. If it's just the X-Men, then it's not Marvel Comics, it's X-Men.
It's X-Men
Get
comics.
rid of the fucking. That's why when you have a DC series, a universe, and it's all Batman, it's like 50 fucking Batman books and nothing else. That ain't a universe. That's Batman. Like it needs to have the other shit to be a universe. Star Wars is a universe, so yeah, sometimes you can spend it with the Jedi, sometimes you can spend it with the crazy chick who fucks Jawas, like that's canon now, and then sometimes you could spend it getting a high level, dramatic, take on what it would be like to actually loot the Empire and the ramifications for it,
Yeah,
like all of those things should be able to exist, and if you say, well, one's not my cake or my cup of tea or the other, that's a healthy, vibrant universe. It shouldn't all be for you.
Want to talk about how healthy it is? I think we had our first Star Wars piss. I think we had our first taking a piss moment in Star Wars.
And they had to heck of the look. Like,
oh god,
smell. It smells like coffee.
It's all steaming in the fucking Scotland Highland air.
I was waiting for the steam. I'm like, I wonder if they'll put the steam in there. Like,
well,
you could just see it wafting. Like, oh no.
So to spend a moment with Planet Fitness's comment. Today's episode is exactly what George would make. So today's episode is what George would intend to make, but then he would get sidetracked by going like, "What if they're eating fondue?" Like he would get he would just start going down these. You're like, George, I'm the prize, buddy. I'm the prize. But King Chris, that's best episode yet, and damn, the show continues to get better and better. Oh, hey, George.
Jason, I
Yeah.
heard you talking about fondue. I
Yeah.
just want you to know that's actually how I came up with carbonite. We all went out with Francis, and we were dipping things in there, and I was like, I bet you could dip Francis in there, and he'd fucking live forever, you
Yeah.
know. And
Right.
and I put it in the movie. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Also,
Fun facts from George Lucas.
Yeah. Fun facts. Yeah.
Thanks, George.
Also, this show is too serious. I don't like it. But,
Yeah,
right.
needs fun too.
Such a serious show for George.
Yeah, basically though, the whole series, like so far, yeah, I don't feel like anything has been wasted. I don't feel like I don't feel like there isn't anything that doesn't compound and contribute to where we are. Like there are moments in the structure of the other shows, all of them, in fact, where you didn't need the previous point to get there. You could have just started there. Most of what we have here, I don't think you could really start here. I don't think it would have been wise to just to start with Andor's a mercenary. Like it wouldn't have the same like punch. Everything is compounded. And man, I'm liking the show.
There's a world where they do try to literally make it like Mission Impossible 2. Like Metallica's out, right? And then he's running, you know, and he's like giving everyone the, don't you know you got to make decisions? You don't want to, and you just shoot everyone. Bah, 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 bah. Like you could just see, you know, the really bad version. I would not like it to get out because the whole fucking internet wouldn't know what to do with it. But I would personally love to read that initial take for this series that Gilroy was like, don't do this.
Yeah.
just to read the surface. I don't think it was bad, but you know, it was probably extremely surfacey MTV-ish.
It was probably a really good time. I mean, if it's just like K2SO and him having space adventures, like there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. It just isn't the best way to spend your time at this point with what we're getting. Like, for instance, if this show existed, let's just pretend Kenobi was 12 episodes this serious. It was this but it was like this like heavy.
Oh, it was
of a
like
thing.
this, or it's just the same show but 12 episodes.
Tony Gilroy made Kenobi, okay? In an alternate universe.
Okay.
Then in that alternate universe, a Butch Cassidy, Sundance Kid, K2SO, and Cassian show is a great like layout to have something super serious and something super fun. Like I think that there should always be sort of a ping pong match with that kind of concept with Star Wars, whether they do it in the show or whether they do it over the swath of shows. And
again,
movies.
I read tone in any project, in any book, any movie, any comic as being the tone is always the point of view of the protagonist or the antagonist. Like when we're jumping to a protagonist, that's the tone. The tone is basically the POV of the lead character or characters.
Yeah.
So if you're if it's a lighthearted, fun adventure, but that character's like Robert Pattinson in Batman, you know what I mean? Like it's gonna not work. Like it has to. If the character is depressed and everyone else having a great time, unless it's a farce, right? Like a comedy, a tragic or happy. If there's some kind of farcical situation, then you can play that against one another. But in this case, like Andor's not a dude who's having a good time in his life. I just don't see him. You know, like anytime you're hanging out with Andor, it's not really a good Butch Cassidy and Sunday. Even when K2SO is making, you know, jokes at him in that ship the first time we see him, he's not having a good time with the jokes. He's not, you know, he gives me the look my wife gives me when I give her a joke. Anytime I give her a joke, she's just like, really?
Yeah. Andor's not like laughing to make the audience laugh, you know. What I was that's what Solo would have done, and I think the Star Wars story moniker, which went nowhere, but like
that
when
was
you get
my
down
point
to it
with the Solo film, when you got this character who's inherently like, I just never saw Solo. Even I read their AC Crispin trilogy books, dude. You know, like I've seen different takes on this idea of a Solo story, you know, an origin story. Solo is just a guy who's like he's like Burt Reynolds in Smokey and the Bandit. He's just a dude who's always kind of like did it easier his own way and didn't care if he failed or walked away from it. You'll figure a way out kind of dude. not really a super serious. And so when you put Solo in World War One, you know what I mean? You're like, what? It's a disconnect. I'm not, I get if the Wookiee's being tortured, right? But when the rest of the movie is like a continuation of that drama, it's just like really.
Yeah, that's why I think like Rogue One, tonally pretty on, and then Solo, I think was trying to like go the other way to give us that variety, but then the look of it was so dark and drab, and the settings were, you know what I mean? It's like
it should be Andor. I mean, Andor was there,
weird.
So like it's just so weird to see Burt Reynolds. You know what I mean? And Burt Reynolds and the band and Smokey and the Bandit fucking. Literally, I always forget he's the bandit. Smokey's fucking
Smokey. Yeah,
I get it. So I know.
I get it.
It's like Moonraker when the fucking moon wasn't actually Moonraker. It's the ships. Why? Who thought it? The 70s. What is with that? Anyway, the Godfather's not even the point of it's fucking Michael. Anyway, so like the 70s.
The Godson.
It's not bad, but it's odd, and it really takes some kind of either luck or skilled hand to make that work, and I think that's the disconnect with something like a Solo. You know? Yeah. I think Mando knows what it is, and then keeps it pretty on the level.
Well, and to go about what's smart about the show, like I said, the stuff that happens in previous episodes. When you look at the second episode in this arc, at the end we have Luthen shitting his pants with what's her name, like Krayla, like Leia 2, and they're in the antique shop, and he's really nervous. She's like, I don't like seeing you like this, and she's like, go clean some coins. That whole moment, that they're having together. If you remove that,
got carbonite. If you look in the background,
but if you remove that, this happy Luthen having his Joker lap at the end moment, it doesn't work. Like that's what's
well. This is because this is the problem with people who like want to fan edit everything down to like 15 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Like why don't you just make a music video and a montage and just like I don't understand this mentality. You take out all the things that give the tension. Mm-hmm. Like you're taking out all the things that set up the other stuff. Sometimes it gets set up poorly. I can name a show right now that I don't know why people are watching 12 episodes or 8 episodes. It takes fucking forever, anything to happen, whatever.
Dahmer?
It's their thing.
No, I'm kidding.
Yeah,
I'm joking.
Yeah. I'm not sitting through that story. It's frightening. But that's a big difference between that and say like the pacing of the Batman. I thought did a really good job of that. Like you trim the Batman down to 90 minutes, it doesn't work. Like you can remove the Joker scene, but you can't like I'm gonna trim all the stuff out. Just have the stuff that matters. Like that. I don't get that. And anybody that's like aching for that fucking shit. When you sit there and complain, those people when they complain that the movies don't have the weight they had in the 70s, bro. Like my wife's watching Top Gun. She felt that movie was 2 hours. We're only at the halfway point.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, they paced films differently,
Mm-hmm.
And this is closer to 80s dramatic pacing, right?
Yeah.
Like The Thief. Remember The Thief, right?
Mm-hmm.
Michael Mann's Thief, right? Shit like that. Or Sorcerer. This is more like that than Spies Like Us with troopers and shit.
No, and but I don't believe that neither. I think both should exist. I think Star Wars Spies Like Us should exist. Not everything needs to be like Andor. It's just, right. But if you're gonna do one of those things, do one of those things. Don't walk this line and go, what would be cool is all of a sudden we were super serious right now. It was World War One. And then all of a sudden, you know what though? Now we're going like this is a screwball comedy. Like no, it's just that.
Well, let's take a guy who's like the leader of a criminal underworld and one of the greatest fighters supposedly of all fucking time, and let's just have him sit around wanting to get respect. It's like it's a weird fucking take, man. It's like I'm not gonna say it's a bad take. I'm gonna say it's a weird fucking take. It's weird. It's weird to do that.
It's a half baked take, is what it is. It's not a bad take. It's just, but they didn't. There was no doesn't go anywhere.
Right.
Gilroy doesn't seem to have the fan pander button Filoni does, says Lord Tasman. And the way I look at that, I almost feel like as storytellers, we have two different parenting styles here. What Filoni does is he goes through and he gives you what you want, and then he tries to teach you about why that would make sense. That's what Filoni does. Of course, Anakin would do X, Y, and Z because he was a slave on Tatooine, blah, 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 blah. Whereas Gilroy goes, I know what you need because I know better than you. And you are my children. And just do what daddy says. And then daddy's right. In this instance, daddy's right. Is how it goes. And it's not like it's like a great leap of faith. Just these people are so generally impatient and stupid at times that they start coming up with writing their tweets in their brains before they've even got past the first act. That says something about your level of your willingness to pay attention to a narrative and actually follow it and study it and even enjoy it. But that's what happens when we live in a society. I sound like the Joker, I know, in a society, but full of where hot takes count as reviews and hot takes count as a personality. It doesn't. But dick and fart jokes do. Me and Rob firmly believe that. Don't even try to change your minds. You would be stupid. I wonder if the Empire will kill the natives for what has happened. I think so. I think that they already have, though. That was kind of like my. I was looking at this and like there was sort of like a Saw Gerrera kind of moment there with them because I feel like that heist killed the last, what was there, 60 of them or something? Didn't they say there used to be like 15,000 of them in those hills at the beginning?
Yeah, there was 15,000, and then they set up a bunch of taverns and bars to get people to get too drunk and stupid to even show up. And they've gotten very smart. Like, we know how to get people over time to just slowly disappear. But what I think is going to happen is they're going to scorched earth. Like, yeah, fuck that. We're just killing everyone. Mm-hmm. Like, and this is what you're going to see. Like the rebellion being out in the open forces in turn the Empire to then go, well, you know, like, we can't be playing these long-term games, these long card games now. We have to just squash anything quotas wherever it appears.
We have quotas, right? Like this.
Yeah.
But they're businessmen.
When you just decide to indiscriminately launch missiles into playgrounds and shit just to kind of prove that you're tough, right? Right.
Yeah. Well, I mean that's when you're winning and you have a really good plan. You know what I mean? When you're hitting all of the military targets, like Miss Jenkins' third grade. You know?
Yeah. Right. I mean, the coffee shop.
I'm just gonna say maybe the Russians have time travel and maybe they actually killed the next great resistance leader. Just throwing that out there. That could have been John Connor moment. I mean, that's how stupid you have to take it for the mind of fucking Putin, that stupid cunt.
Have you listened to Quentin and Roger Avery review Firefox yet?
No, I'm not to Firefox yet. I'm like 1.5 episodes.
Because you start thinking like it's funny what we think people spend money on. Like they don't spend that kind of money on that. They spend it on missiles and bribing your politicians. That's what they spent their money on.
My dad's best friend had an Apple IIc computer, and like they would hang out when I was a kid, and I would just play on the Apple IIc,
the green one.
And I had the Firefox game. At the game. Planet Fitness says, I wonder if the Empire will kill the natives. Yeah, and I think we all agree they will. Suck says, I love Disney showing lesbians affection for each other with their hand on top of one another. Think of the children. Empire will use the natives as a scapegoat, says Planet Fitness. Yeah, I think they might even get blamed for it. I mean, ultimately, like they were there at the scene of the crime. They're gonna have to blame somebody for it. I don't remember what he's called, the commandant or whatever the fuck that guy was. He fucking has a heart attack and died. So the next in command, yeah, I mean Gorn. I think Gorn's dead personally. Yeah, and so like when you get down to it, like down the chain of command, who do you blame? And they always have to blame somebody. And so I think they're gonna blame the natives. Well,
when you didn't get the opinions you wanted on the show, you blame me.
Hey, right here, David says Sketchcraft is his cup of tea.
Yeah. I prefer coffee, but I respect you.
As you says, saw somebody today complain today's episode used the word money instead of credits. Then reject Han uses then reject
I
Honey's
just
Thorn in A
can't
New
with
Hope.
these. I know.
Yeah.
All you care about is money, then that's all you're gonna get.
Yeah.
Like they just. I don't know what fucking. I don't. I don't. How am I gonna say this?
Star Wars has synonyms? Whoa.
It's like when people see the prequels and they go, "Darth Vader is my hero." I'm like, really? Like that's what you took away from all this shit? Like,
Look, here's what I see.
But he looks
He's hanging
cool,
out.
and he's the strongest one in Masters of Taraz. He just kills everyone. I want to be like Vader. Like, all right,
I
there
mean,
you go.
he's got a fucking pod racer, dude. Fucking
Let's
Liam
say
Neeson
you
wants
can't be
his new
into the
dad.
villains,
Padme?
but these
No,
these
I-
crazy psychos relate to this character. And that's what
Yeah.
I'm like. You relate to this? I was an orphan. I don't relate to that dude. Like, first off,
Yeah.
he's got shitty backpacks. Let's just talk about
No, he doesn't.
Anakin
I love
Skywalker's
the backpack.
fortes
I
in
love the
backpacks.
backpack.
It's
I
not
like the
good.
backpack.
It's
I
no,
like
it's
the
the
backpack.
worst prop
I love it.
in
It
the
was-
history of Star Wars. Is
I
his
love-
Velcro polyester backpack?
That I liked when I got the little action figure and he had a little backpack that you can put on. I enjoyed it. But no, I mean like I could see relating to Anakin. I think Anakin is actually in reality in certain ways a more relatable hero than Luke Skywalker, who's just super perfect. But the point is that there comes that jump off point, like at the child murder stuff, the leaning into fascism, that's kind of where I think that you need to go, oh, if I'm relating to this character now, no. I'm wrong.
Well,
I have problems.
I enjoy movies like Nightcrawler, right?
Mhm.
It's
Yeah.
fascinating to watch a psychotic do their business if they're entertaining to watch. So
Yeah.
it's not a matter of morality.
Mhm.
But when motherfuckers like, I want to grow up to be Nightcrawler one day, you're like, whoa, time out, buddy. What?
Imagine if I went Nightcrawler, what I could do to that parking structure. Just throwing it out there. Just saying. By the Mando
sell
set.
all his copper and shit.
Fucking, I'd start like renting cars and like fucking parking trucks and making like this like perch.
Fair enough.
So we will get to a little bit about the episode 7 predictions, but the truth is, Arya, one of the things I like about this is the only real prediction that we have that we can make based off of the episode itself is just that shot of the Star Destroyer. And my buddy Baymax, where did Baymax put that in the? So Baymax wrote this to us. Shots we're still to see. Elevator descending to the lower levels of Coruscant. Remember that shot with the elevators?
Yeah.
Luthen ship with sabers wrecking TIE bomber's ass. And that arrestor cruiser.
The Cantwell's.
So
it's in your fucking song at the opening of the show.
Yeah, the lightsaber ship and stuff too. Yeah. Saw and his partisans with 2 tubes. Dedra, Death Troopers, Riot Troopers, Imp, Armored Speeder on Ferrix. Star Destroyer over Aldhani, Cinta. So that's the shot we're just talking about. Clone Trooper flashback with Clem's death. The Clem's death thing is an assumption by us, I think, though. Maybe it will happen, but that's it. The Clone Trooper flashbacks are in the trailer. It would be weird to put clones in the trailer and then never show us that. But if it's Clem's death or not.
But he's old. Andor's like this age now in that flashback. That's why I said he's younger in that flashback.
We just see clones walking through the city. I don't think we have the clones in the city is clearly during the Clone Wars time.
Oh. Okay.
And so the clones don't show up in this era at all. So I think we just have 2 things happening in the same locations that make us think it's like that, just make it confusing. But when we've also seen, I think we saw what's her name there too, Vel there as well. So that's why we do think that they will go back to liberate the planet, at least to try to. Marva crying before killing herself and taking imps with her. That's just a guess.
Do you think the prison thing is getting Luthen out?
It could
That's what I was thinking today. Like,
I mean, if that source though that was on it, is right, though, he hires Andor to go into the prison. So
Okay.
Yeah, if that might be wrong, though. I mean, we haven't seen the episode yet or anything from the episode to know how accurate that source was yet. Luthen's assistant, Alex Jones, ordered to pay nearly $1 billion in damages to Sandy Hook families. You fucking bitch! Oh man, you deserve to go to hell still.
That real?
Yes, I just got it on my phone right now. It just popped up on my phone right now on Apple News.
I love how we're talking about defeating fascism and this happened. Oh, it's so good. It's so good.
Luthen's assistant up to no good. Yeah, she is up to no good.
No, she's up to good.
No, she's up to no good.
No, she's up to good.
I think she's going to buy it. I think she's going to. I think her and Luthen are going to take that money and go on vacation. She's going to buy a new bathing suit. No, I'm kidding. The Mothma's dinner party. We do know that's coming. Wide Senate shot with people actually there. That's probably. I think that I think what happened here, maybe because we saw people leaving the Senate in this episode. In this episode, we had like Mon Mothma's giving her speech and people just walking out, and she gets on her little iPad and she's like, "Oh shit." Like we have that moment. So I'm guessing that what this is going to do is it's going to justify a lot of terribleness by the Empire, a lot of clamping down on stuff. I think that like like what we saw with the Iraq War or with 9/11. Once 9/11 happened, oh boy, it was an excuse to do a lot of terrible things. By the neocons.
I love it when my conservative friends go, only cancel culture. I'm like, remember the Dixie Chicks? Fuck you, Rob. Oh, all right.
Oh, well, hey.
You don't like it? Fucking...
Yeah, I guess you don't.
Okay.
Yeah. I know. When the lynch mob came after me, oh boy, those right guys sure were there, ready to fucking ready to cancel me. Yeah,
looking out for Jason.
It's almost like they're all full of shit and just fascist fucking assholes. All right. Anyways, Deidre interrogating Bix, Fisher thief line. The white barefoot prison lab assembly line place with breakout. Stormtroopers.
Clearly, that's the next story arc or the last story arc.
Yeah, I think
we have two more story bits, right?
I keep feeling like something from here is going to lead to the prison, and then but we'll see. Stormtroopers shooting into crowd. Ferrex, Vel on Coruscant. He says with their mom, but no, not with the mom. We know that Vel isn't Mon Mothma's daughter now. So, but Vel's on Coruscant, goes to Mon Mothma's apartment. Vel is back on Ferrex when the Stormtroopers are present. She is one of only 2 TVC Andor figures made so far. You're such a nerd, Baymax. I love you. Hexagonal facility in water. Looks like it could be Canary. Looks like the strip mining in the background around the edges. Cyril at ISB location. And Cassian at Palm Tree locations with the shore troopers. And then anybody knows any other clips? Yeah. And then so there we go right there. That's some good stuff, So we have stuff to look forward to, but it's like, I that source that was in the prison thing, they were kind of under the assumption that the prison itself was like around 2 episodes. So I'm guessing one is probably going to be structured around getting to the prison. We're probably going to end the first episode with him there. Second episode, he's in it. Third episode's breakout. I'm guessing that's how it will loosely work, but that's just a guess. So those are our predictions. They're not really predictions. The Luthen scenes are set up and pay off. Some fans just want highlight reels. Yeah. And the big picture when all of this sits on Disney Plus.
I want to see him fight Wolverine like in the Bat in the Sun videos. Like,
as a tone.
I just want to see him fight Wolverine.
Of greatness. I think that's
fight Wolverine.
No, this is going to be interesting in the big picture, because like in a weird way, I feel like this series itself is going to lead to fan on uncertainty and unhappiness, because this is going to have flicked the bean of so many important like of Our Lady parts, and then some people are only going to want that. and they're going to be mad every time they get something else that is something that's not this. And then you're going to have people that get mad every time it's something like this. And then we're going to go through phases where things try to be like this and don't live up to it. And it's going to be like all over the place. And I'm there for it. But I do not expect.
I got a fresh cup of their tears, Jason.
Yeah, I love that cup, by the way. It's pretty cool. But I don't see how any of this we don't have patience. Spoiler. That's why I like spoilers. But we don't have any
Like Guns N'
patience.
Roses.
And oh God, Guns N' Roses.
Can I have a little patience?
I know. Also,
want to watch a great video reaction? Side note:
Yeah.
Lost in Vegas did a Patience Guns N' Roses react video, and watching those guys react to that song, beautiful. It's a legit. They're not fake reactions.
I'm not joking. The very first time I ever saw Guns N' Roses, I walked into this guy, my dad's friend Barry's room, with a Guns N' Roses poster, and I was just like, "Those girls are ugly." I thought they were ugly girls.
My first
Aria,
experience was
I was like
Sing to
6.
Stand by Me, or stand was it? Lean on Me. Sorry.
Oh yeah, they filmed that over here. Aria says, "I have never felt so desperate to see Stormtroopers again, and they feel higher up compared to the trash cops." Good job, Tony. Yeah, that is
Trash
that
cops
is
curse though.
interesting.
That's why
true.
I like trash cops. Fucking go.
Star Wars Trash Cops. I want that show.
I want the outtake where he's like, "God, fucking cock, motherfucker!" You're like, "Time out, come on." Kathy Kenny runs in there. Whoa, hold on, whoa.
Yeah.
Okay, it's too much. You can do one. Pick one.
Seth says this whole fandom is the meme where the red spot in the head keeps getting bigger and bigger. Astro says, "I've seen way too many 18 to 25-year-old white guys idolize Order 66 Vader for my liking."
Yeah, that's so weird to me, dude. It's so weird.
Yeah.
It's so weird, Jason.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's I like it as a gateway to something that could be like heavy, or whatever, but it's not what it ends up being. It ends up being just like a massacre.
Let me throw you a little bit of I don't fucking understand these psychos, right? They put their Dear Orange leader's head on the body of Rambo while simultaneously saying Blue Lives Matter. Now, I don't know if you ever watched the movie Rambo. Motherfucker, it's waxing cops left and right. And if you read the book, it's even better, Jason. The book is great. You got to read the Rambo book, First Blood. Oh, yeah. It's the best.
I've always wanted to.
Recommended that in 97. When I worked at Playco, this guy John worked there. Older dude with the long ponytail. Looked like, who's the guy that plays the blind dude in Sneakers? That guy. Looks kind of like Steve Rhodes. That dude. I always got him confused with the Steve Rhodes actor. Looks like that dude, but he was in Vietnam, and he would tell me, "Rambo sucks. You got to read this book." And I was like, "All right, I read the book. He's right. It's brilliant." But that's the thing. I just don't understand it.
I heard Quentin Tarantino one time say that he would not mind making that into a movie. That book.
If he got Adam Driver and made that shit, you know what I mean? That would be the book.
Mm-hmm.
That would.
So by the way,
that would be excellent.
Clerks 3 was very good. Then it comes out on home video next week. I recommend. All right, cool. Yeah, I want to see it.
I actually came out on tape.
Yeah. Suck says, "I have the actual backpack and I actually use it, and everyone always compliments it, not knowing it's Anakin's bag.
Oh, no.
But it's great to protect items from the rain." The one that they sold at FAS Schwartz, that circle part was a CD wallet, and every time I really wanted it. I went to FAS Schwartz in Vegas twice to when I was in Vegas to try to get it, but people would steal the CD wallet. It would fall off or something. I don't know, but it was always gone. As the truth says, plenty
Star Wars, that backpack.
Plenty of people wanted DICE to make a youngling hunt mode for Battlefront. They once openly said, "Of course you are crazy," and got pushback. Seriously, yeah, there is a mode of that in Blade and Sorcery, a mod that my kid has that he plays. But he's their size, so it's kind of funny when he does it. But these little kids just run at you with lightsabers.
All the backpacks. Right?
Yeah, there I am.
Yeah, there you are. That's you.
I will always remember though this fool thinking it was fucking Black Friday or something, and he was in a Walmart video. and he just started going crazy, try to get crazy around me. And he does it, and he pulls it, and out of the top of it, of his fucking pile, pops the Darth Maul on the speeder bike. It just fucking pops up. I was like, I just snatched it and looked at it, and I laughed at him like, ha ha ha, mine now, fucking motherfucker.
Who's laughing now, Jason?
That was one of the
Who's
best things I
laughing?
bought that night. So I am still very pleased with that buy. And he could take his fucking 5 Rick Ollies and shove them up his ass. Arya, wasn't there a famous guy in the prison?
Tommy Chong.
Tommy
They
Chong.
needlessly arrested him for one bong, dude. Yeah. I don't even smoke, but that's ridiculous.
As it just says, there was no Lego Youngling scene, and that spawned a lot of disappointment. A kids game. These fans are unhinged. Yeah.
As it's true, you gotta come on sometime and just
Yeah.
tell me the crazy shit this fandom's up to, because like that, I could not imagine playing the Lego Star Wars game and being mad I can't wax little Lego kids. Like I just
We have to do that. As a true needs to start making lists, and we need like as a true's list. And he just needs to come on and be like, here's where we're at. Arya says,
giving
"You
Santa
forgot-"
work. He has to update that naughty list and cross off a few of his friends. He keeps giving the benefit of the doubt, though. That's the problem.
Arya, Arya says we forgot Clea going undercover in Coruscant. No, he did mention that. He said that. That's where I said she's actually going to buy a bathing suit. Where I made that joke was in reference to that moment. Bye, Jedi Mike. All hell your lamb head. But anyways, I'm super pleased with the episode. Excuse me, with the arc. We're halfway through the season. I think it's been fucking near perfect. I don't have any real gripes. I don't feel like there's like a hole in the show where like this opportunity has been missed so far with anything.
No,
you know,
this is
and it's
everything I wanted from this series from the second it was announced.
Yeah.
You know, like if I just live long enough to see it, this is the kind of shit I want. This is everything I loved about when I would write little Star Wars campaigns or my own little fucking whatever fiction. This is the kind of shit, you know, I would write. And I'm not as good as fucking Gilrain. I mean, they're fucking way more talented, but this sort of shit, like
look at Star Wars. Like we've said this before. When you look at Star Wars, where it succeeds and it failed, new characters without a lot of baggage, like Andor, allow this to happen. They're not like, you need to rush to the moment when he pulls the lightsaber out of the. Like, there's none of that shit. It's like they're able just to like make it work. Like Rogue One, they had a tie to the original in the plot, and then but it had all of that time to like explore itself and just
but they created
do
a
what it
bunch of
wanted
new
to do.
characters for the sequel trilogy and didn't give them a lot to do in that third film either. So you know,
but you know why? But you know why? Because they were doing emotional maintenance on classic characters, taking up vital real estate that could have been used to grow those characters stronger. Having, Leia looking at fucking gold dice and shit. I like those moments as a Star Wars fan, but did that rob Finn from probably getting all of the emotional resonance that he needed in his arc? It probably did, because they decided to make those movies the same runtime as the originals. They spread it around. But what I'm trying to say is, like, Solo, a Star Wars story, would be considered a failure relative to Rogue One, a Star Wars story. Cassian Andor is a success relative to story-wise to Kenobi and Boba Fett with two established characters. We see over and over that new things can flourish, whereas established things just have too much baggage and too much maintenance. Lucasfilm needs to literally come up with a brave way of dealing with the maintenance side of that. I don't know how they do it, because it's like remember who's the what's that comedian? I'm trying to blank on his name. The guy who made that really like funny thing about young Boba Fett. You know what I'm talking about? It's a shorter guy. He was married to a true crime writer and she passed away. She was really good.
Patton Oswalt.
Like he does like a good like his like stand up. So I think it's funny. I don't agree with him really, because I like that stuff. But he's like, well, you have Boba Fett, and then you do this, and it's like, that's like, you don't like the execution of that, but the truth is, like, that becomes the discourse. So that's where they've fallen into this maintenance of how they deal with established things, like in Kenobi. And
Look,
it's just
I'm not.
there's no right way to do it, but it's just really it's unfortunate.
I just want to let me end it on this. This is my 2 cents about all this sort of thing. Like, when Lucas was talking about the prequels before they came out and how they were more Shakespearean, they're more like Othello and you know, when he says things like Star Wars are meant to be seen, not heard, that's like a play on that Shakespearean line about how the plays weren't meant to be read, they're meant to be experienced on the stage and acted. You're not supposed to read Shakespeare. But those movies ain't Shakespearean. There's stuff there. And had he not gotten $1 billion Pepsi deal, that's my conspiracy theory I'm living with. You know, he could have paired up with Ron Howard. Right. He could have paired up with Ron Howard. Right? You know what I mean?
Give him that.
And there's a world in which those 3 movies could have been made, like he made the Indiana Jones films with Steven Spielberg, but with Ron Howard, you know, or Frank Darabont, and you could have got this blend. You know, but instead you get like this surface, the surface level stuff. I think works better in animation, which is why the Clone Wars stuff works. Because in animation, for some reason, I don't know why this is. In animation, things can be a little more surfacey because you're looking at pretty drawings. I don't know what it is about animation. You give it a pass. Or because animation is generally 20 minutes in fucking length at a time, and you're not spending 2 or 3 years anticipating a 2-hour fucking film that's going to solve all your dreams and hopes and wishes. Probably that's the real answer. So, this is sort of the sort of thing where I keep saying anytime people are like, Star Wars is dead, I still believe, and I've said this for years, the best Star Wars is still in front of us because the universe itself is fucking... It's amazing. I would never want to live there, but I would never want to live in Star Wars. It's just one step above Mad Max. You know, one step. You got to have a lot of money to do well in Star Wars.
I used to agree with you. And I saw Bix, and I was like, what if there's a planet full of Bixes out there?
She'll be in a Marvel thing soon. She could be. Bix will be the new Jean Grey, and so it's all good.
Okay.
But this is the kind of fucking stuff I love. When I'm bored with, after Inglourious Bastards, I'm bored with World War II movies. You know, like once you kill Hitler, I mean, what else is there left to do? So like with the crazy Sherlock Holmes dude. So telling World War II stories in a galaxy far, far away, great. But do World War II. Don't give me, you know, the G.I. Joe version of it, unless you're really good at making the G.I. Joe version of it.
Unless you're going to lean into it fully.
Really lean into it, yeah.
I can't quite put my finger on it, but there's something about doing a successful surface level Star Wars that tends to give it longevity and allows it to like stay and like where you could kind of dig in, but you also don't have to. He's hit it at times.
I think he's hit it very well, like with his 2 episodes, like this. So it's surface, but it's still good. It has some bits. You know, and it has some stuff that's there, you know, so again, The Force Awakens, I think is, you know, surface level, but extremely effective, you know, in the same way that Maverick is surface level, but extremely effective. Like I don't see any difference between Maverick and The Force Awakens, in my opinion, you know, or Avatar, you're on a ride, you know, this is the ride. You don't want to be on that ride. There's another one over there. Go take that fucking ride. But, you know, like I said, we should just all be fucking super happy that the studio is backing projects they want to see made and not pandering to what they think is gonna beat Rings of Power or some bullshit like that, you know?
Yeah, are they doing is Kathleen Kennedy kind of doing the old joke, the old you know, Matt Damon joke of one for them, one for me? Like, are they kind of doing that?
It took so long to make. They made 3 for them by the time it took one of these to make for, you know, so it's not even fair. You literally got Mando season 2, Boba Fett and Kenobi before you got this. So this is harder to make. And I think the more it goes on, the more harder it gets to make something like this. This is why Gilroy said, we got to wrap this up. This 5 season shit ain't going to work. This is going to be here forever doing this. Like
I'm liking House of Dragons, though. And House of Dragons doesn't have the original people that were doing Game of Thrones involved. They're doing it.
Say that, but they threw away a whole other series they shot, a pilot, to do this one. So what I'm saying is it's just not easy. And with the House of Dragons, they've also said 4 seasons, not 8. It's 4 seasons and we're done. You know,
but that's where I'm saying, like, what I'm saying is it's possible. Like we've seen, you know what I mean? And the Game of Thrones stuff is doing like an anime and shit. They're sort of doing the same layout that yet they're kind of doing at Lucasfilm in reverse. They started with their Andor, and then now they're doing their Visions. And I wouldn't be some of this shit's probably going to get more like Boba Fett eventually, but I think it's gonna be all over the place in that world. I'm fine with it. It's all fun. Let's have a good time. But make sure you guys like the video and let us know in the comments if you have any thoughts or anything that you wanted us to hit or whatever, and we'll talk about it tomorrow. We'll be back tomorrow at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time.
I know what Jason wants to hit. Don't give him any suggestions. I did not say that, Jason.
I was thinking
I did not say that.
I was thinking it though. This is the most beautiful space princess I've ever seen.
I want to hit the Toys R Us and load up on all these sweet prequel figures. They're going to go really well in the aftermarket. I guarantee it. Yeah.
Wouldn't it be cool if at the very end of the show, though, like it just cuts to like Darth Maul and he's a space gangster? You're like, what? Why? Now you do that? Now you decide to do that? At the end, they just totally shit the bed.
And he's outside the ring planet, hanging out on the ring planet, and then tied, right?
If people know my secret, it could destroy me. What is that secret, Lord Maul? My name is Caffrine, and this is my ring.
I've got an 8-inch dick with horns.
Oh no!
Zabrak.
He's all no. He's all like, I have a 14-inch dick with horns. It's both a blessing and a curse. You're like, whoa.
No, it's mostly a curse.
Mostly a curse.
Yeah, it's essentially something the killer would wear in 7.
What's in the box? Oh, a fucking horn dick, and it's not nice. All right, everyone, we'll be back tomorrow. We did it. Bye, guys. Thank you. Like the video, leave the comments and all that shit. See you tomorrow. Bye. Bye, Aria. Bye, everybody.
It's the end of the show. Come
on, let's go. Hey!
It's the end of the show.
Come on, let's go. Hey!
It's the end of the show.
Come on, let's go. Hey!
You know you should go.
Come on, let's go.
It's not about spaceships.